Well, good morning and welcome to this morning's reflection. And I'm glad that we can be together again this morning as we continue to look at being drawn into an intimate relationship by God and what that means for us and how we live our lives. Entering into a relationship with God begins with a decision to become a pilgrim at heart. What does real life look like? And how is God drawing us to Himself? Through the flat tires and the rained out picnics? What is He after as we face cancer, sexual struggles and abandonment? Does knowing that we are His beloved make any difference at all to our lives? The short answer is that it gives us a way of seeing that reveals life for what it truly is. In other words, we come to see reality. To enter into an intimate relationship with God begins with eyes to see and ears to hear. Failure to see things as they truly are can be tragic. The Apostle Paul was going about his business and in his view, in the way he saw the world, he saw Jesus and Christians as a threat, and he saw them as an enemy, and he undertook to get rid of them. But on the road to Damascus, he entered a relationship with God, with Jesus Christ, and he saw life differently. He saw the reality of who Jesus was and who Christians were. And so we have to be asking, what is God up to in all of the aspects of our lives, in all of the murky, muddy, frustrating and beautiful details of our lives? If we do not ask that question more often, we get caught up in our small stories, in the petty drama of our lives, and it blinds us to the story, to the true story. Our spiritual progress depends on our ability to see life through the question, what is God up to in all of this? You see, our lives are not a random series of disconnected events. They tell a story that has meaning. We are being drawn towards God. Yet, of course, at the same time, evil does exist. And so, at times, we become fearful. And we begin to wonder, well, who's in charge after all? And then we run back to our small story. We take refuge in our small stories. But we need to recognize that our real story has God in the lead role. God is not the happy helper on the side. He is in the lead role. He has created us for Himself, and He is moving heaven and earth to restore us to Him. He seeks to free us from our many attachments and addictions which get in the way of a deeper and more intimate relationship with Him. And who are we in this story? Well, we're not pond scum. I'm relieved to know that. But nor do we play the lead role, and that's important. This is not our story. We are not the center of attention. But we are the beloved of God. So we must decide, do we leave our small stories to follow our beloved into a deeper and more intimate relationship? Now, we cannot make this happen, but we need to open our hearts to the possibility of following our beloved into a more intimate relationship. And the choice before us is to recognize that invitation when it happens in our lives and to enter into it. We need to let go of so much that has once brought us life. We have to stop pretending that life is better than it is, or that we are happier than we actually are. So we must turn away from our attachments and turn towards our deepest desires. Gerald May writes in Addiction and Grace, detachment is the word used in spiritual traditions to describe freedom of desire. Not freedom from desire, freedom of desire. An authentic spiritual understanding of detachment devalues neither desire nor the objects of desire. Instead, it aims at correcting one's own anxious grasping in order to free oneself for a committed relationship to God. According to Meister Eckhart, detachment enkindles the heart, it awakens the spirit, it stimulates our longings, and it shows us where God is. With a heart awake, we turn and we face the road ahead, knowing that this is our journey and we must travel it alone, in the sense that only we can experience it. And it is about a surprising adventure. It is not about making life safe. This is a life not to be managed, but it is to be lived, and lived with passion. And tomorrow we will look at some of the hazards that we meet along the way, and some of the places of rest and refreshment. Amen.